In 1948, on a quiet beach in South Australia, a man was found dead. He was sitting against a seawall, legs outstretched, hands resting calmly. At first glance, it looked like he had fallen asleep while watching the ocean, but he was gone. No wounds, no ID, no known cause of death. His clothes were pressed, his shoes were polished, but every single label had been cut off. Inside his pocket, a tiny rolled-up piece of paper, just 2 words, Tamam Shud. The body was discovered on December 1st, 1948 at Somerton Beach, near the city of Adelaide. The man appeared to be in his early 40s, fit, clean-shaven, dressed in a suit and tie. Everything about him suggested purpose, even class, but no wallet, no driver's license, not a single personal item. When they searched him, they found tickets for a train and a bus, but nothing to suggest where he came from or why he was there. Even his identity was erased. The tags on every piece of his clothing were missing. Some had been removed so precisely, it was as if someone wanted him to vanish completely. He had no hat, which was unusual at the time, and strangely, his shoes were spotless, almost as if he hadn't walked anywhere at all. The autopsy only deepened the mystery. No signs of trauma, no visible cause of death. But his organs were strangely congested, and his spleen was unusually large. Doctors believed poison was the most likely cause, but no traces were found. Nothing in his stomach, blood, or tissues revealed a toxin. They called it an unnatural death, but unnatural in more ways than one. Then came the biggest clue. Weeks later, a hidden pocket was discovered in his trousers. Inside it was a tiny scroll of paper, tightly rolled and expertly concealed. On it were the words, Tamam Shud, Persian for "it is ended." The phrase comes from the Rubaiyat of Omar Khayyam, a 12th century collection of poetry, a book that speaks of life, fate, and the finality of death. To the police, it was clear this was not random. This was a message, but from whom and to whom? Shortly after a man came forward, he had found a copy of the Rubaiyat in the back seat of his car, left unlocked near Somerton Beach. Inside the book, the final page, the one containing Tamam Shud, had been torn out, and that book wasn't empty. Scrawled on one of the back pages was a series of letters, a strange arrangement of capital letters, 5 lines, each seemingly random. Ragobab MLIAOIWTB No one has ever cracked it. Cryptographers from the Australian government, international codebreakers, and military intelligence all tried. Nothing made sense. Some suggested the letters might represent a cipher, a one-time pad. Others believed they were the initials of English words, forming a hidden message. But even today, no decryption has ever been confirmed. There was one more clue inside the book, a phone number. It led to a woman named Justin, a nurse living just minutes away from the beach. When questioned, she claimed not to know the man, but when shown a plaster bust of his face, she was visibly shaken. She nearly fainted. She insisted she had nothing to do with it. The police had no evidence to prove otherwise and let her go. But there was another detail. Inside her home was a copy of the Rubaiyat, the same edition as the one found in the stranger's car. Some suspected that the Somerton man was a spy. The year was 1948, the dawn of the Cold War. Australia was hosting military testing sites and was cooperating closely with the British and American intelligence services. There were whispers that he was a Soviet operative, that he'd been poisoned with a substance so rare it left no trace, that Justin was part of an espionage ring, even that her child, a young boy named Robin, was the son of the dead man. No theory was ever proven. But the secrecy, the code, the message, it all pointed to something bigger than just one man. For decades, his identity remained unknown. The Somerton man was buried in an unmarked grave. A bust of his face, made before burial, sat in the Adelaide police station for years. People obsessed over the case. Writers, detectives, amateur sleuths. Theories flooded in, from secret lovers to international assassins. But no one knew his name until recently. In 2022, more than 70 years later, forensic scientists used DNA extracted from hairs trapped in the plaster bust. With modern genealogy tools, they constructed a family tree. Finally, the Somerton man was identified. Carl Charles Webb, an engineer and instrument maker from Melbourne, born in 1905. He had no known criminal record. He wasn't listed as missing. He simply vanished from his life. Even now, no one knows why he was in Adelaide, or why he died on that beach, or what Tamam Shud meant to him. The case is technically closed, but the mystery, it remains. A dead man in a suit. No name, no past, no footprints. A page torn from a book. A code no one can read. And a phrase that lingers through time. Tamam Shud. It is ended, or is it?